Okay, let's talk about slope-intercept form. The two essential questions in this video that will be answered is how do I find the slope and y-intercept? And also, how do I write an equation using slope and the y-intercept? Okay, so let's talk about those things. The first thing that you need to know is the formula. Slope-intercept form is written as y equals mx plus b. You know from prior videos the slope is the m, and now the b is the y-intercept. So what does that really mean? Well, if you were looking at a graph, and this is the x and this is the y, let's say this is the point 0, 3. Right there, the part where, and you know this from our prior studies, that the part where the point is like the line cuts across the y line is the y-intercept. So right here, the b would be equal to 3. And we're going to get that all squared away a little bit later on. So this would be the b right here. It's where the line cuts across the y line. That's the y-intercept, which is a b. Okay, which is a little weird. You would hope that it would be a y, but it's not. So the m is the slope, the b is the y-intercept, and we're going to do some really simple identifying now. So if we have an equation, y equals 2x plus 8, well, the thing you have to remember is our original formula that I showed you just now is y equals mx plus b. So every time you're given an equation and they ask you what is the slope and what is the y-intercept, you have to remember two things. M is the slope, B is the y-intercept, okay? And the formula, the third thing you have to remember is that formula, y equals mx plus b. And once you write the formula on top or below it, you can see it lines up so that the m is equal to 2, and then the b is equal to 8. And that's really it. That's all you need to do. So that's part of identifying the parts of the equation that's put into slope-intercept form. Y equals 2x plus 8, the m equals 2, the b equals 8. Let's do another one. Let's again write y equals mx plus b. That's our standard form. And we're going to figure out what is the m. Well, if we line this up, which we just did, the m is equal to a 5. And the b is equal to 7. That's it. These are the two parts. The y-intercept is 7. The m, which is the slope, is 5. Okay, so let's do another one. Or a few more, I should say. Okay, so I'm going to write my equation again. Y equals mx plus b. Now in this one, we know that there's someone invisible right in front of that x, and I know you know that that is number 1. And if we were looking at this equation, we have it lined up, our m would be a 1. And our b would be the 3. Pretty simple. Let's do another one. In this one, let's write our equation, y equals mx plus b. Now in this one, you notice there's a minus sign up here. And please keep in mind that adding a negative is the same as subtraction. So if that's true, we can really rewrite this formula or this equation, y equals 4x plus, right, plus a negative 3, because adding a negative is the same as subtraction, which is right here, right? Adding a negative is the same as subtraction. So basically, our slope is the 4, and our b becomes the negative 3. Now I'm going to do another one that's very similar. So anytime you see the minus sign, this becomes a negative. That's the short of the story. So let's do this one. This time let's rewrite it because I think it'll be a little easier to see. So y equals 5x minus 4 is the same as plus a negative 4, okay? So knowing that, now we can write the y equals mx plus b underneath. And then we see here that the m is the 5, that's simple, and the b is the negative 4. Okay, pretty simple. Just the only thing you needed to remember here is if you see a minus sign, that ends up becoming a negative y-intercept, okay, a negative b, okay? What about this? How do I write an equation using an m and a b? Well, let's say you're given an m and a b, and they say write an equation. Well, if they say write an equation, they're asking you to put it in the form y equals mx plus b. And it's really simple to do that. You're going to write y equals, what's the slope? A 2. Put in the x, plus, what's the b? A 4. That's it. Those are the only two things that are going to change. The y and the x always stay the same, and the 2 and the 4, actually the y and the x may change too, so strike that. But okay, so the m and the b are what they're asking you to substitute into the y equals mx plus b. Okay, so let's leave it at that. Okay, so now let's rewrite that formula again. Y equals mx plus b. Our m is 1, so let's write this over again. Y equals m is going to be the 1, x. The b is plus 5. Simple. And you can also write this as y equals x plus 5. Same thing. That would be our formula. So this would be our final answer here. This would be our final answer here. I'm going to look at a couple more. What if they said m equals negative 1 and b equals negative 4? Okay, so we can still do this. Y equals mx plus b. It would be y equals negative 1 is the m, x plus negative 4 is the b. Now, you know adding a negative is the same as subtraction, so I'm going to just simplify that, and instead of plus a negative, I'm going to make it a minus 4. And also I know that negative 1x is the same thing as negative x. So I'm now going to make my final equation y equals negative x minus 4. So this would be my final answer right here. And then let's do one more. Let's write our formula. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, the m is a negative 5, so it's going to be y equals negative 5x plus negative 7. And again, plus and negative is the same as subtraction, so now I'm going to change it. Y equals negative 5x minus 7, and that would be the final answer. Okay, so that's two different ways of playing around with slope-intercept form, and I will be showing you another video how to get the y by itself in slope-intercept form. But practice this and you should be fine.